I believe that there are things that are timeless, there are things that are universal, that will be applicable regardless of the time. Of course, when we started 20 years ago, technology wasn't this pervasive, nor was it this impactful on journalism as we find today. So what are the lessons from the last 20 years that will serve us still, even 20 years away from today? It will be hard work, finding the right kind of people, staff, and of course, a good understanding of how the Nigerian economy is evolving. These are three things that will always serve any journalism setup well. Fourthly will be the right kind of capitalization. I think for me those will be four key lessons that I have learned over the last 20 years that I believe will be useful for us as a business and as journalists, even 20 years away from today. Firstly, would have to be the day we started and launched a daily business newspaper, the first anywhere in Nigeria and most of Africa, except of course in South Africa. That was a very defining moment in my life, to do what no one else had done, deliberately, not by stumbling onto it. So clearly, one bit of it. The second one was, of course, as we started, the competitive environment was quite hostile. The competition was fierce. And so another defining moment in my life, or in the last 20 years, would be the time when you began to see that hard work, the very deliberate selection of journalists that we assembled, and then of course the plurality of our shareholder base began to serve us well. And so each time you remember those very tough moments when you thought you were going to fall by the wayside, and somehow it was some other competitor that fell by the wayside. That was indeed a very gratifying moment for not just me, but for all of us at BusinessDay. The third moment, of course, would have to be the day that we launched our digital distribution service, when we were able, as it were, to make that very tentative transition from just getting only vendors to distribute your news to being able to do that on a strong digital platform that opened, indeed, the entire world to you as a market. I think for me, those will be three clear, and there are others, but I think I will end with those three. It would be wrong to assume that the best of journalism can turn around an unwilling people. Let it be clear. As journalists, we're not government. We don't execute. We don't implement. Our business is to put the ideas there. Our business is to interrogate policy. Our business is to encourage work in the right direction. But people must necessarily, in government, take those ideas, implement them, or execute. So, even in measuring the impact that we have made, I think we must be humble enough to admit that while we have discharged and acquitted ourselves with the kind of journalism that we've done over the last 20 years, we cannot take full credit for where good has happened. And I think that's the way it should be. If you look at some key things, when the power privatization was being embarked on, BusinessDay, I can tell you this for no fee, BusinessDay was the only media organization, mainstream media, that canvassed privatization and reported the privatization process in a manner that helps it to succeed rather than making it fail. And today, I look back, we are not where we want to be with power privatization. There is still a long way to go, but I have absolutely no regrets for the BusinessDay slant in the course of the privatization, because as it is, you must understand that whereas the power generation and power distribution companies were privatized, the transmission company still remains in the hand of government. The key fuel for the privatized power generation firms, gas, is still largely in the hand of government. So I am satisfied with the role that we played. Am I satisfied with the success of privatization? We will be yes and no. We can do much better, and I believe that there is still time to do better. It was easier then starting BusinessDay, and I'm sure this will be a testimony that many people will give. Things were less volatile, more certain, and the environment was more pro-business. In 2001, it was clear that Nigeria was a country where investment was invited, welcomed, and nourished. I don't think we can say we can tick all three boxes today. So clearly, you had a friendlier business environment there. You had then a speedy internationalization of Nigeria's economy. It appears today that the wisdom is that the more Nigerians are participating exclusive of foreigners, the better. I don't think so. I think what's important is our quality of life, is the general well-being of Nigerians. That should be our number one priority. And government shouldn't delude itself. While I welcome areas where, for instance, you have the Nigerian content law and other areas, we must proceed with caution. Technology can be transferred without necessarily making all businesses wholly Nigerian owned. Why? We still need a lot of foreign capital into the Nigerian economy. And foreign capital won't come without foreign participation in the Nigerian economy. There has been a number of obituaries written about sections of the media over the years. There was the very prominent one by The Economist, which thankfully ate his words 10 years after, saying that the press will die. The press hasn't died. Of course, the media is troubled economically, but the media is also troubled by what I see as a very dangerous trend that symbolizes the encroachment of control. I think that's dangerous. I began my journalism in Lagos in 1982. And so I was 2 years into the business when Buhari first became the president of Nigeria in December of 1983. So the two fellows who went to jail, Thompson Irabor and Unduka. Tunde Thompson and Unduka Irabor were colleagues with me at the Guardian. We were there at the court that day. We saw the Black Maria take them into prison. So the memories are still very fresh in my mind. But most importantly, the discussions around that time, how what we were taught in school, that if you are accurate and your report is true, you are in the clear. The Buhari regime made nonsense of that by enacting a law that says if your report, regardless of its accuracy, if it brings the government or senior government people to disrepute, you were liable for a jail term. And that's what happened to Tunde Thompson and Nunduka Irabor. What I hear today, of course, I'm not a promoter of fake news, but most of the people who talk about fake news today are people in government, and that's why I'm worried. I'm worried because they don't bother about the safety of Nigeria. They only care about their own regime safety or the safety of these individuals in government. That's the danger. I would rather want to hear more of civil society talk about fake news, not people in government, because the government doesn't belong to them. And most importantly, they are only there for a time. But they are discussing as if they are discussing their own private business or the business that their parents handed over to them, which will belong to them for life. That makes me very, very worried. And as a nation, I think we need to be careful. Now, beyond that, technology is, of course, disrupting journalism. Most importantly, how journalism is distributed. I see that happening at a faster pace with technology adoption, with internet adoption as well. But I still believe that the business that we are in is about democracy. So far, I cannot separate a good press or good journalism from a virile, thriving democracy. I cannot separate the two. In fact, there is a survey that was done several years ago that pointed out that 10 of the most prosperous countries in the world also have the best forms of journalism. So it means that there is a correlation between good journalism and thriving economies and, of course, stable democracies. So far, I haven't seen a good, better alternative to democracy. So for as long as that's a desire here to improve on the quality of democracy in this country, so long will I see a very comfortable place for the media and the press in Nigeria. So what do I see in the future? More journalism setups that are able to tell local stories better, that connects better with their audience, and are driven by the demands of the audience. We started journalism in an era when people talked about journalism as the gatehouse and journalists as gatekeepers. But I think more in the future, we will remain gatehouses and gatekeepers, but I think we will understand that we are holding that position in trust for society. It's like a rich man that sets up a sentry in front of the house. There is someone else, apart from the guy at the gate, who determines who comes and who goes. And I think that for as long as journalism, sits well with that, or that sits well with journalism, so long I believe there will be thriving journalism in Nigeria. But clearly, I worry about the quality. I worry about the quality of what we're getting from the universities, the graduates that we're getting. But I think the good thing is today we are also able to attract people from around the world. And in the years ahead, that I believe will happen even more than it is happening today. So if you ask me, I see very healthy journalism practice. Unfortunately, some will, as with other aspects of life, some will drop out in the journey that is ahead. But I think good days are still ahead of us. Clearly, without a doubt, digitalization is the future for journalism. There's absolutely no doubt in my mind about it. We may argue about the pace at which that will happen. We may argue about how profitable that may be. We may argue about how and if it will cannibalize journalism. But everyone and anyone who does not see digitalization today as the future will be one of the first victims of the disruption that technology is bringing to bear on journalism. Looking forward, we are excited with what is happening. We've, of course, pioneered paid digital subscription in Nigeria, in fact in Africa, and I think the second was BusinessDay in South Africa, who came after us. And so, as it were, we must believe that there is a first mover advantage that we must continue to leverage and use that to pivot ahead at a faster pace. We see the digital part of our business growing. I was reviewing a report this morning showing me what time it took for us to get our first 1,000 paid digital subscribers, the time it took to get the second 1,000, the time it took to get the next 1,000, and how over time that time of an additional 1,000 is getting shorter. And we are now able to predict reasonably what time it will take to get the next 1,000, the next 1,000, the next 1,000. But clearly, this is a marathon. We continue to review on BusinessDay the history of newspapers that have done extremely well with a digital subscription, and we are mindful to take note of the fact that it didn't just suddenly happen. But what is clear is we are shortening the time it takes us to accumulate the next 1,000 subscribers, paid subscribers. And to the extent that we continue to do that, to that extent we see us making even faster paced progress in the future, which allows us to really benefit our journalism, to be able to do the best stories for our audience. Today, as you know, we launched a very interesting, innovative process whereby we have a fund now available for our own journalists to pitch for stories, and that work will be funded by the newspaper. Very good. I commend the editor and his team, and I was very excited to witness the launch of that initiative today. And there will be more of such things happening as we begin to prepare for or galvanize energies and resources for our next 20 years.